I stated in a previous video that I believe cancel culture doesn't exist. I believe accountability culture exists, and what a company chooses to do with someone who has done something wrong is up to them. But I am also fascinated by the concept of what happens after cancellation. What does someone do when their whole life has been devoted to being a public figure and the public no longer wants to see you anymore? Who gets redemption and who doesn't? What do you do with someone and their body of work? Does cancellation just equal redirection to communities who will accept you despite your past? Today, I'm going to explore the rise, career, cancellation, and redirection of actor Jeremy Piven, which, may sound random, but I think it's a fascinating look into what happens when someone is canceled, and does cancel culture actually exist? And is there also always room for redemption? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into the fascinating and complex career of actor Jeremy Piven, a name synonymous with the Hollywood roller coaster. From his meteoric rise as Ari Gold on HBO's Entourage and how this character may have contributed to his scandals that nearly derailed his career, his unexpected pivot into stand-up comedy. I also want to explore how one of the movies Jeremy Piven was in may have predicted the very culture we're in today. Jeremy Piven was born on July 26, 1965. Both his parents were involved in drama instruction and co-founded the Piven Theater Workshop, where Jeremy would learn the craft that would shape his career. The Piven Theater Workshop wasn't just any acting school. It was a breeding ground for talent. Here, Jeremy honed his skills in method acting, which later became a hallmark of his performances. His formal education continued at NYU's Tisch School of the Arts and the Actors Studio Drama School, where he immersed himself in theoretical productions, gaining an invaluable experience. Before landing his breakout role, Piven was known as more of a sidekick or a comedic relief in films, frequently appearing alongside his childhood friend John Cusack. Movies like Say Anything made him a familiar face, earning him the title of that guy, the actor you recognize but don't always name. I first realized that the first movie that I ever saw with Jeremy Piven in it was actually Rush Hour, when he played that character trying to dress up Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. In 2004 came Jeremy Piven's breakout role as Ari Gold in Entourage, the brash, fast-talking Hollywood agent who would become a cultural icon. This role didn't just make him famous, it defined his career. Piven's portrayal of Ari Gold was lauded for its intensity, wit, and depth, earning him 3 Emmy Awards and 2 Golden Globes. The show itself became a touchstone of the 2000s television, with Piven's performance at its heart. A character like Ari Gold was brash, rude, forceful, and basically the epitome of what people fear Hollywood is. His character was sexist and definitely said a lot of non-PC things. A character like Ari Gold probably wouldn't have survived in today's television, not because we're living in such a strict PC culture, but because things that Ari Gold did and said definitely wouldn't fly in today's world. In 2017, just as the Me Too movement was gaining momentum, multiple allegations of sexual misconduct were brought against Piven. These accusations, which he has vehemently denied, ranged from inappropriate behavior to assault, with some claims dating back to 1995. The impact was immediate and devastating. Piven's reputation took a major hit, and roles began to dry up. Piven's response to the allegations was one of firm denial. He even passed a polygraph test, which he paid for, which he claimed proved his innocence. Despite this, the court of public opinion was less forgiving, and Piven found himself largely sidelined in Hollywood. Now, I do believe that accountability culture and a lot of the stuff that happened when it comes to the whole quote-unquote cancellation is it's a lot of the public deciding that they no longer want to see anyone anymore. When someone has serious allegations against them, it's hard to know whether or not things are true or not. And we know that the justice system does not all the time get the bad guy or put the bad person in jail. So a lot of it is the public having to take this justice in their own hands. And that unfortunately has hurt a lot of people's careers. But I think that another part of it is people who are harmed being able to tell their story. And I think everyone has the right to tell their story. If you don't want to be caught up in it, then don't harm people. But I do think that Jeremy Piven's role in Entourage definitely didn't help. His character definitely was almost the sort of look at people like Harvey Weinstein. Men who throw their weight around and say whatever they want and do whatever they want without consequence. And I do think that some of that did rub off on Jeremy Piven as a person, which it's interesting knowing that the role that Jeremy Piven played in this movie called PCU, which basically is a movie making fun of PC culture and how PC culture is affecting college campuses. But now this particular film almost feels like a fortune teller telling the future of the very culture that would go on to cancel, quote unquote, Jeremy Piven in the future. But that didn't stop his career necessarily. Piven didn't disappear. He just disappeared from the mainstream audience. Instead, he redirected his energy into new creative outlets, most notably stand-up comedy. It was an unexpected move, but one that allowed him to connect with audiences in a different way. Piven's comedy is a mix of self-deprecation, Hollywood insider stories, and reflections on his life, a far cry from the intense roles he was once known for. And like with most comedians, especially during the pandemic, Piven also ventured into podcasting, further diversifying his career. These new platforms have given him a voice outside of the traditional Hollywood system, allowing him to rebrand and reach new audiences. Recently, Piven has begun to reappear on the big screen in Sweetwater, and his involvement in other projects showed that despite the controversies, he's not done with acting. These roles may have not be as high profile as Ari Gold, but they demonstrate his continued passion for the craft. Yes, his quote-unquote cancellation because of the Me Too movement did stunt his career for years, and he had to rebuild himself. But it is an example of how that cancellation didn't just mean that his career stopped. It meant that his career hit a redirection. Unlike the quote-unquote powerful agent that he would portray, Piven's quote-unquote cancellation just meant that he went onto a community, the comedy community, which doesn't exactly hold those same types of traditional Hollywood rules. Over the years, many comedians have railed against the whole PC culture and have been very vocal against the idea of cancellation. Many comedians, like say Joe Rogan, have had some real serious pushback with some of the things that they have said, either on their podcast or in stand-up. But they choose to keep this very open-minded stance. PC culture is not a part of the comedy scene. It can sometimes be a little stuck behind the times. This club will accept you, as well as not judge you for your past. Jeremy Piven's career has been anything but straightforward. From the heights of Hollywood fame to the depths of scandal and back to the stage. His journey is a testament to the unpredictable nature of show business. Whether you're a fan or a critic, there's no denying that the Piven story is far from over. And cancellation does not exactly mean that someone's career is over. A lot of time, in Jeremy Piven's case, means redirection into a whole other chapter of your career and into communities that will accept you more. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I will be back with another video soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.